This is the Marketing Made Easy for HR Consultants podcast, a show to help independent UK-based HR consultants get a pipeline of perfect fit, high-paying clients without expensive adverts, time-consuming social media activities, or energy-sapping and monotonous networking meetings. I'm your host, Nick Paninsky, author of How to Land Your Dream Client, a book which explains everything you need to know to get every sale and client you ever want. And if that sounds interesting, then make sure to grab your copy from the influential consultant website today. That being said, let's get into today's show. Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Marketing Made Easy for HR Consultants with me, Nick Paninsky. On today's episode, we are talking about adverts. We are talking about whether or not running adverts is the best lead gen method for HR consultants. And the reason for this podcast is that I ran a poll on LinkedIn recently, and 50% of HR consultants said they're scared of blowing their budget and getting nothing back. And quite right too. Facebook, Google, etc. They will quite happily take all your money and give you absolutely nothing back in return. So you're right to be cautious. Now, a further quarter of that poll, they didn't even know where to start, which is, fair enough. It's quite honest. I appreciate that. Adverts can feel overwhelming, and if you don't even know where to start, then it's not something that you're going to spend much time looking at. And the rest, the final quarter, they'd tried adverts but ended up disappointed, i.e. they didn't get the return on investment that they were expecting. So what can we make of all that? Well, HR consultants aren't running adverts well. They aren't running them, and they aren't running them well for their HR consultancies. They're not getting an ROI on their investment. So on today's episode, I'm going to pull back the curtain on adverts and talk about whether or not you should be running them. Spoiler alert, yes, you should, but you need to be careful. I'm going to talk about what to watch out for. Spoiler alert, a lot. I'm going to talk about what assets you need in place before you consider running adverts. Spoiler alert, the same assets any decent service-based business should have, and where the best place for HR consultants to run adverts is. Spoiler alert, it's not during Coronation Street's commercial break. Now, I'm going to be upfront here and say if you want help setting up your adverts that generate leads and clients on demand for your HR consultancy, DM me on LinkedIn. We'll chat and see if I can help. But in the meantime, let's get into it. Let's talk about why adverts are worth considering for your HR consultancy. First up, ads equal consistent attention. They are a way to manufacture leads and clients, not wait on them. Most HR consultants, they're posting on LinkedIn, they're going networking, maybe sending some post in the mail. But a lot of them as well, they are relying on referrals or word of mouth. And that's fine when it works. But it's unpredictable. You can't control it. You can't manufacture any of this, any return on investment with any of that. Adverts, though, they let you switch on visibility whenever you want them, whenever you want visibility. You don't have to wait for someone to recommend you. You don't have to wait for lightning to strike and for you to bump into the right person at a networking event. You put an advert live at 10 a.m. and by 10:01, people are seeing your advert, they're clicking on it, they're engaging with it. Yeah, you are generating leads and you're not doing a single thing to do this. You are just sat at home, chilling out, reading your magazine or delivering client work, when you're in your zone of genius and leads are being brought to you. So leads, they don't have to be a lottery because ads give you control over your visibility and allow you to generate leads on demand. The next reason you might want to consider adverts is because they can work for any HR niche if you do it right. So whether or not you specialize in redundancies, investigations, absence management, whatever it is, there are people out there searching for that specific help. They want that problem solving. And one trick is to make sure that your ad is specific to the problem that they are looking to solve. So a general HR support ad is very vague, but how to handle long-term sickness fairly and legally, that gets attention. Right? Can you see how much more specific that is? So ads don't fail because of the platform. They don't fail because you don't know what you're doing. Adverts fail because the message is too fluffy, too general, too safe. If you're saying, I'm a HR consultant, I can solve your problems, you're not going to get many clicks, if any at all. But if you are offering to solve a very specific problem, the person who is looking to solve that very specific problem will click, will engage. They will say, okay, you have my attention. They won't ignore that because that is a problem that they resonate with. The next reason that you might want to consider adverts is because you control the volume, you control the message. So whether you're relying on LinkedIn posts or, as I say, networking, you are at the mercy of the algorithm. You are at the mercy of who you interact with. With adverts, you control who sees your message. You control whether or not they see it, when they see it, how often they see it. You control as well what they see. You control every single element of that process. So if you want more leads next week, you can just increase your daily budget. You can tweak your audience slightly. You can change your message slightly. And that means you're no longer waiting for someone else to recommend you or to stumble across one of your LinkedIn posts. You're putting yourself in front of people looking for a solution to their problem every single day. So running adverts, it's like switching from fishing for rod and bait in the ocean to using a giant net in a barrel filled with fish. You are putting yourself in front of people who are looking for an answer to their problems. The fourth and final reason why you might want to consider running adverts is that adverts are scalable, predictable, and they are easy when it's all set up right. So the real power of adverts is this. Once you've got a funnel that works, once you've got a message that people resonate with, a follow-up sequence that makes the person see you as the answer to their problems, and once there's a call to action that converts, you can scale it. You can put £10 into adverts, get 4 email signups, or £100 and get 40. And if just one or two of them convert into a free or £6,000 project, that's a serious return on investment. You know, it's like putting a fiver into a vending machine and getting £50 back. You wouldn't just do that once, would you? You'd keep doing it until you didn't want to do it for whatever reason. So it's not a one-off trick. It's a system, and you can let the system run in the background, generating leads every single day while you focus on delivery for your clients or taking days off or whatever it is that you want to do. Effectively done well, adverts, it's like switching on a tap that pours leads into your business daily. All that being said, adverts aren't a perfect solution, right? There are things to consider. There are reasons why you might want to consider not running adverts. Now, first up, ads are a magnifier. They make a good funnel better or a bad funnel disastrous. So think of adverts like pouring fuel on a fire. If your fire is already burning, i.e. you've got a clear message, a strong lead magnet, and a solid follow-up, the fire will explode in the best way. You will get leads and clients hand over fist. But if your funnel's not working, all adverts will do is speed up the failure, and you'll pour money out of your account. You'll get clicks, you'll get eyeballs, but you'll also get people saying, no thanks. You'll get people ignoring you. You will burn off a hell of a lot of money very quickly. So ads won't fix a broken funnel. They just make it more expensive to find out what's wrong. Their adverts aren't a magic solution. To put it another way, they are a magnifying glass. They will magnify what is working and expose what isn't working. Next reason you might want to consider not running adverts is that if you don't have a clear niche or a message, ads will expose that weakness fast. So a big mistake that HR consultants make is thinking that ads will get them out there, even if they're still figuring out what it is that they offer. The truth is, if your messaging is vague, your audience will ignore you. No one pays £3,000 or whatever for general HR help. They want specific solutions to painful problems. You need to understand who you serve and what problem you are solving. Once you've done that, well, yeah, then everything will be fine once you've understood that. Ads force clarity. So if you are not clear on what it is that you do and who you help, your money will vanish fast. So if you can't explain who you help and how in under, 10 words or so, don't run adverts. You're not ready. Next up, the next reason you might want to consider not running adverts. If you're sending people to a homepage or a contact form, you will burn money. The purpose of an advert is to start a journey. That journey needs to lead somewhere specific. A homepage is a dead end. Too many choices, too much fluff, too much to work their way through. A contact form, that's worse. That puts pressure on the prospect to figure out why they should reach out, what they should be saying. Instead, you want to guide them. Use a dedicated landing page, a green light page, a page where people can go and understand exactly what they should be doing or why they should be doing it. You might want to offer a lead magnet so that solves a specific problem, i.e., you want to resolve that absence management issue. Here's how you can do it. Once people understand what it is that they're supposed to be doing, you will then have a call to action saying, listen, it's really complicated. Give me a call, we'll solve that problem together. But you will have your foot in the door by giving them all that information. It's kind of like what I'm doing right now, right? How very meta. And then obviously after they've downloaded that lead magnet, you want to nurture them with emails that show your value, give them more information, not in an overwhelming way, in a way that helps them understand why they should get in contact with you. And then it should lead your audience to your core offer. So sending ad traffic to a homepage or a contact page, that's like inviting someone into a shop without any signs, no prices, and no one at the till. They're just going to walk away. To summarize, ads can work. I'll stand by that, but they are not a fix for fuzzy messaging, random offers, or weak positioning. And if that's where you are right now, that's okay. It just means you're better off fixing those things first so that when you do run ads, they're profitable. So don't rush to pour money into ads hoping it will save you business. Sort your messaging first, then fuel the fire. So if you don't know how to sort your messaging, make sure to, let me give this call to action, make sure to go and grab a copy of my book. Understand who it is that you're serving, understand what problem you're solving, understand what messages to share, and yeah, then you can start to run adverts. You can do it in a very tentative way as well. No one's saying that you need to pour £100 into this a day or £200 or whatever. You can try for £5-10 a day, see what happens. Once you've run these adverts for, I don't know, maybe 5-10 days, whatever it is, you'll have an understanding. You will have an understanding of whether or not people are interacting with your messaging, whether or not they're downloading your lead magnet, whether or not they're opening their emails, whether or not they're getting in touch. Something somewhere will be amiss, and you will have that data at that point to figure out what is the problem. Then you can go and fix that problem. So if people are clicking onto your advert, great, you know the advert works. If people are not downloading the lead magnet, you know you've got a problem with that landing page. A landing page on average should have about a 20% download rate, give or take. Then when people are opening up your emails should have an open rate, give or take, of about 30%. And then a click-through rate, i.e. whatever click that you have put at the bottom of the email where you've said, get in touch with me, that should be about 2 or 3%. So once you've figured out, all the data around that, then you can figure out what is amiss. Once somebody has clicked on that, have they then converted into a client? Because if they click on it then don't convert into a client, you know there's an issue there that you need to fix. So, as I say, don't rush to pour money into adverts hoping that adverts will save your business, generate leads and clients on demand like some sort of magic solution. Sort your message first, then fuel the fire. Now, I've kind of hinted throughout the podcast what your adverts, what your funnel should be looking to do. But before I go too much further into that, I want to talk about the 4 main types of adverts that you could possibly run. So first up, we've got Google search ads, and you can throw Bing into the mix here. But this is a high intent, right? This is Google is where people go to get answers to the problems in their lives. So depending on the search terms that you identify in your adverts, this is where you can find people who are looking for answers to the problems in their lives. So if you are solving a known problem, i.e. disciplinaries, absences, performance issues, whatever it is. This is great because you can bid for your adverts to be shown for people looking for how to discipline a problem employee or something along those terms, right? Those search terms that people are searching for, you can have your advert shown to them. And this is even better if you can twin this up with a certain niche, so that when people are, I don't know, let's say, for example, local garages or whatever, mechanic absent from work or something along those lines. And you can have your advert show up for these people with these problems. This is high intent. These are people looking for answers for their problems, and you are going to show your advert to these people and basically say, get an answer here. The next type of advert that you could run would be Facebook or Instagram, and these are great for attention-grabbing offers like your book or your lead magnet, whatever it is. Now, this has a much lower intent, i.e. people are not on Facebook or Instagram to get answers to their problems. They're there, they're mindlessly scrolling. They just want to be entertained. They just want to switch off, right? They are doom scrolling. So they're not looking for answers to their problems in their lives. But Facebook and Instagram is very cheap, right? It's very cheap compared to Google. And that's because it's lower intent. So, for example, I'm currently running adverts on my on Facebook. People might say to me, "Oh, Nick, your audience isn't on Facebook." Everyone's audience is on Facebook in some way, shape, or form, right? Say, for example, HR consultants, that's my audience. Yes, it's arguable they are on LinkedIn. That would be a better place to look for my audience. But at the same time, HR consultants, they are on Facebook. They may not necessarily be looking for clients on Facebook, but they are on Facebook, right? So, for example, and I'm going to prove this here, I'm advertising my book for sale on Facebook, and I'm currently getting clicks for around £2.50, which is amazing, right? That £2.50, £2.50 for somebody to click on my advert, go through to my sales page, look at the sales page, and whether or not they buy the book, I've set the adverts up that I get the contact information either way. So people click on the advert, they have to share their contact information with me, so name, email address. I'm getting that for £2.50. And these are people who are looking for they're looking for how to get a 70k HR consultancy. That is basically what my advert says. And I'm paying £2.50 to get the contact details of somebody who wants that in their life. That's amazing. That's £2.50 for somebody who is for someone who's in my target audience, right? And whether or not they buy the book, as I say, I get their contact information. They go onto my mailing list. So £2.50, rather than spending all day, every day messing around on LinkedIn, sending DMs, going networking, anything along those lines. £2.50, right? And if you think about that, a networking event might be like £50 for a good one, or maybe £2,000 for BNI, something along those lines. £2.50. And I'm sat in my living room. It's happening while I'm doing nothing. So Facebook adverts, they're great for attention-grabbing offers. There's lower intent, but it is cheap. Next up, you might want to consider running LinkedIn ads. These are highly targeted. So the audience that you can identify here is amazing because of the filters, because of the information that they have. It's a professional area, and you get all the information that you need. So you can specifically target your advert at a very specific audience. The problem with this is that they are expensive. They're not beginner friendly. If you don't know what you're doing, you will burn through your money with nothing to show for it. That being said, LinkedIn will give you £100 for free to run adverts just to see what it's like. I've used that £100 and I got nothing in return for it. So yeah, be careful with LinkedIn adverts. As I say, £2.50 for Facebook adverts. I used to run Google adverts. I was getting clicks for around £5. Again, these are high intent. So they were nice and cheap and I was getting a good return on investment there. Whereas LinkedIn, as I say, I used that £100 that they gave me for free. I was very specific on the audience. I got no return on investment. So my advice, be careful with the LinkedIn. Okay, so now we've talked about why you should run adverts, why you shouldn't run adverts, where to actually run adverts. Let's talk about what your adverts should actually do. Because this is where so many HR consultants go wrong. It's why they burn through their budget on marketing that just doesn't work. And it's no surprise that in my LinkedIn poll, a big chunk of people said they didn't know where to start or they felt like they'd wasted the money, because this is the bit that they get wrong. Let me give you an example. If you run an advert that says something along the lines of, we offer retained HR support for SMEs, nobody is going to click on that. Nobody cares. It's vague, it's flat, and let's be honest, it's boring. And here's a quick reminder. I'm sure I've said this before. I know I've said this before. SMEs aren't an audience. Nobody identifies as an SME. That term doesn't emotionally resonate with anyone. It's just business jargon. So instead of talking about vague services for vague businesses, talk about a specific pain and a clear outcome, because that's what grabs attention. So let's say, for example, that you want to help a business handle staff absent. You could run an advert that says, avoid a £5,000 payout for mismanaging absent. Get the problem sorted in under 4 weeks. That's specific. It's outcome-led, and yes, maybe the solution is a settlement agreement behind the scenes. You don't need to say that up front. You just need to put the result in front of the business owner in language that they care about. And the truth is, when the employee signs that without prejudice settlement agreement, they can't take the business to tribunal, right? We know that. The problem's solved, the owner is relieved, the risk is gone, the issue is dealt with quickly. Yes, there are drawbacks to settlement agreements. We know that it can send mixed signals to the rest of the team, but it is a solution you can put in front of a business owner in an advert. It's a fast and effective fix. And that's what they might care about. They will click on the advert, and whether or not it's for them, they will find out in due course. But you will get that click on the advert. They will say, okay, I want to avoid a £5,000 payout. What is this? You've got my attention. So if your advert says that, get the problem off your desk in a month and avoid a £5,000 payout, click here to find out, that's going to get attention. You are solving a real problem. You're offering a real clear result. That's what gets the click. And that's your only job at this stage, right? That is the job of the advert, is to get the click. You're not selling HR advice. You're not selling your HR consultancy. You're selling the next step. What comes after that click? That's where you send people to a dedicated landing page. It's what I call a green light page. This is a page you can send everyone to, whether or not they come from the adverts, networking, email, whatever. The only job is to offer something valuable and get people to take that one small action, of downloading your lead magnet, whatever it is. Not 5 actions, not find out more about us, not read our blog, not visit our services page, just one thing. Download the checklist, watch the video, grab the free guide, whatever it is, that's it. Keep this page focused. No menus, no distractions, one button, one call to action, one job. So, for example, enter your name and email to get the free checklist, enter your name and email to get the free guide, avoiding the £5,000 payout, whatever it is. No fluff, no explaining what HR is, just a valuable, fast win for that business owner who is looking for an answer to their problems. That's what your advert should lead to. Not a pitch, not a sales call. Just sell the lead magnet, the guide. The guide, the lead magnet, that builds the value. The email sequence afterwards, that sells the offer, right? For now, all we want to do is get them into our world. Think of it like this. The ad is to get the click. The click is to get the lead magnet. The lead magnet is to build the trust through emails, which we'll go on to shortly. And that trust, that then leads into the call or the offer. That's your funnel, that's your pipeline. Each step has one job, and when you get it right, the whole system flows. So don't try to sell your whole consultancy in the advert. You are just trying to sell the next step, sell the click. That's the win. Get them to download the lead magnet, Get them to give you their email address, get them to join your world. You can do the selling in the emails in the follow-up sequence. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, easy enough to say, get the lead magnet in their hand, get them on your email list, then what? Well, now that they've downloaded your lead magnet, you've got a warm lead. This is someone, as I say, who wants to hear from you. But if they don't hear from you, they cool off fast. And that is where most people fail. Most HR consultants, most people, they create the ad, they get the click. Someone's handed over their email and then nothing. Silence, no follow-up, no nurture, no relationship, just a dusty name on an email list. It's like someone's walked into your shop interested in what you're offering and you're turning your back on them and walking out of the room. So you do need to follow up. You do need to build a relationship, because effectively the advert is taking a stranger, someone who knows nothing about you, and then the emails, the lead magnet is giving them something valuable that helps them understand they've got problems in their life. The email sequence is to build the relationship. That's what that's for. And we'll talk about that in some more detail over the next podcast or two. But first up is, there's a certain formula that you want to fulfill when it comes to these emails. So you need to build credibility, right? So one of the emails that you send out should be like a quick story, like a client win or something. So as I say, we'll go into what a great email sequence should do in more detail in later episodes. But I wanted to highlight this for you on this episode, that getting the click, getting somebody to sign up to your email list, getting them to download the lead magnet, that's the aim of the advert. And then the emails, that's how you convert that lead into a client, right? And at the end of the emails, you will invite them to take the next step. That'll be the call to action. So as I say, your ad got the click, but if there's nothing behind that click, you're wasting that lead. Your emails, that email follow-up sequence, that's what turns interest into income. Now, I'm aware as I'm talking that a lot of this, it sounds like a lot of work, right? I'm talking to you about adverts, I'm talking to you about niches, I'm talking to you about a landing page, lead magnet, email follow-ups, etc., etc. Sounds like a lot of work, right? And the thing is, though, it's the easiest way to grow your HR consultancy. This is the easiest way of getting leads into your business. This is like turning on a tap, leads flowing through the system, coming out the other end as clients, right? You get leads and clients on demand, so you can sit back and chill out while the system works in the background. Now, as I say, it sounds like a lot of work, and I get that, but if you don't do this work, you are literally just putting off your problems for another day. You're going to go back to the struggle of how to get leads, how to get clients. You're going to have to go networking, waste time, get stressed, on the fact that you don't have a pipeline of leads and clients. You will have feast or famine. You won't have any way of having any control of your business. So if you don't build this pipeline into your business, that's the path that you're choosing. I don't share this to scare you. I just want to be completely honest with you. I want to be transparent with you. That's the path that you are choosing. The alternative path, as I say, is building an infrastructure that builds your business so you can get to 70K or more easily, predictably, consistently, and you can leave your peers in your wake. So there you have it. That's everything that you need to know about adverts. It's not easy initially to get everything set up. It's very easy to burn money too if you don't know what you're doing or you get things set up incorrectly. But it is the easiest way to grow your HR consultancy. And once you've got all this set up, it is there forever. You then have control of your business. You then have control of where your leads are coming from, when they're coming, when leads are converting to clients, because you will have an understanding of what happens, right? You will have industry averages. You know whether or not someone's clicking on your advert, and if they are or if they aren't, then you need to tweak something if they're not. But if they are, then they're joining your funnel at that point. At that point, are they downloading your lead magnet? Industry average, again, 20%. So you can look at your page, you can see how many visitors, how many people click on to download the lead magnet. So again, have you got a 20%? Give or take, that should be the industry average. And then after that, emails. You should be getting about a 30% open rate and then about a 2 to 3% click-through, i.e. somebody is clicking on the link that you've got in the email to book a call or whatever it is. Once you've got all this set up, adverts make it easy, predictable, and consistent for you to get leads and clients for your HR consultancy so you can get to 70K or more nice and easy. And if you want help setting up a simple ad funnel that brings leads on demand in the right way, just DM me on LinkedIn and I'll see if I can help. We'll have a quick chat. No pressure, no hard sell, but if you want some help and I can help, then it'd be silly not to collaborate, right? Either way, I hope this episode gave you something useful to think about. And in the meantime, as ever, get marketing, because without marketing, there's no sales. And without sales, there's no business. So get marketing. Hey there, and thanks for listening to the Marketing Made Easy for HR Consultants podcast. If you've enjoyed the show, then please consider taking a minute to help us grow by sharing the episode with a friend or colleague, or by leaving a positive review on podchase.com. And make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the upcoming episodes if you haven't done so already. I've been your host, Nick Paninsky, and if you've got any questions or you want to know more about today's topic, then feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'd be delighted to hear from you. See you next time.